In this question, we will determine truth values of negation, conjunction, and disjunctions. Here we have the truth value table. These are the values. Now, this is conjunction, this is disjunction, but how will you remember conjunction and disjunction? I always tell my students remember the word A, like AC. A, C. Okay? A is, you can see, from up to down, like this, right? And what is this? Conjunction. And A also we write the word and from conjunction, right? Sorry, from A. So here, conjunction means it's the and gate or and values, and disjunction is or values, the truth table of or. So if you understand one, then the other one is just the opposite of it. If you know what is conjunction, what is this symbol, and what is and, then they are all the same thing. The disjunction will just be the opposite one. So remember AC. A is written like this, inverted V, isn't it? That is the symbol for conjunction. Conjunction. Why? Because AC. C stands for conjunction. And this is also written as AND gate. So what does AND do? Let me tell you the statement. I need food and water. Now in this case, when is this satisfied? If someone gives me food, yes, that is true, but did I get water? No. If this is false, then no, I'm not satisfied because I wanted both. If it's true and false, then it is false. Conjunction doesn't hold good. Say for example, you have got water but no food, then again it's false. If you don't get anything, food or water, no, it's false. But if you get food and water, then you're satisfied, then that is true. So both needs to be satisfied. Now regarding the disjunction, let me give you an example. If I want a pen or pencil, I need to write something down. I'm asking for a pen or a pencil. So imagine I get a pencil and also a pen. Both are there. I can write it down. Yes, that's true. That's satisfied. If I just get a pen but no pencil, one is true, one is false. That means a pen but no pencil. Yes, I can write it down. What about false and true? That is no pen but I got a pencil. That is also fine. But if I get both of them, if I don't have both of them, then it is false. That's the only condition which makes it false. Whereas in conjunction, you need both, only then it's true, otherwise it's false. What is negation? Now, negation here, negation of P, what does that mean? If it is true, it is then false. If it's a true statement, say 2 plus 5 is equal to 7. That is, say, condition P. Now, negation, this is true, right? Negation of P will be just false. So here, true will be false and false will be true. That's it. Now, conjunction is and you can see here the symbol, inverted V, and disjunction is or, and it is written as V. Now let's do these problems. Here we have to use these statements and find the truth values of P and Q. Since it's a writing exam, first let's take one statement at a time. You can write this out. It's -3 minus 2, that is equal to -5. Is it true or false? -3 and -2, yes, it's true. So I'll just write this symbol. It's like equivalent, it's true. What about Q? Q, vertical angles are congruent. Vertical angles, yes, they are congruent. Vertical angles are like this. They are equal to each other. Vertical angles are, angles, you can just write no need of short forms, are congruent. Okay, they're congruent. That is true as well. What about the last statement? Are 2 plus 8 is greater than 10. That is false because 2 plus 8 is equal to 10, not greater than 10. This is false. The first two are true, but the last one is false. Now, what do we have? P and Q. So let's write this. P and Q. Or you can also write it as that is equal to P A Q, inverted V, that is. What is the first one? P is true and Q is also true. So the final truth value is true itself. So you can write P and Q. Over here you can write P and Q. The statement P and Q is true. So this is how we can write it down. And here we go, that's true. But what about, see over here, it has to be mentioned the statement P is true, Q is true, so P and Q is true. You can write over here the statement P is true, Q is true, and therefore we have written it in terms of equation. That's fine. You can write it like this as well. Now, what about the next one? P and R. I'm just going to change it over here. R is false, so it cannot be true here because it's and. Again, it's the and gate. P and R. It is true and false, so it will be false. The answer is false. P and R is false. Why? Because the statement P is true, R is false, therefore P and true and false is false. So here we go. That will be the answer for second one. What about this one here? See, now negation of R is involved. So here I'll just write the answers directly. The same thing. What do we have? Q. So Q, that is or, V is or, negation R. So Q is, statement Q is true, or negation R is again true. Why? Because you should write statement negation R. R is true, therefore negation R is, sorry, R is false. Statement R is false, negation of R is true. Therefore true and true is true, it is true. So you can just write it is this, you can write this in terms of words and tell it is true. It's very simple as long as you understood that how to write the statements. The main thing is the given statements. See, they are the same statements here. If you understand the given statements, then it's absolutely easy. R and Q. What is R? R is false. I'm just going to write over here false. And Q is true. It'll become false. You need to write in detail. Statement R is false. Oh, sorry. It is not and. It is, look here, it is or. Okay, that was or only. I I didn't realize this was or. If any one is true, then it is true. So this is or condition. Statement R is false, but statement Q is true. Therefore, R or Q is true. Any one is correct. That's enough. That's the thing. And what about this one? Negation P and negation Q. Now this means the first one was true, but then negation P is false and negation Q is also false. See here when it's and, even if one is false, it's false itself. So the answer is false here, no doubt. So that is the answer, it's false. And what about this one here? We have negation R. Negation R will be true. Why? Because R in fact is false, but we have negation of it, so it is true. Or we have to do negation of P, which is true, and this negation of P becomes false. Therefore, it is, see, it is or again. So therefore, it is true. You can write in details. See, whatever the statements are given, first you need to write them in detail and tell whether they are true or false. I've just written T, but you guys in the exam write true or false. TRUE, FALSE. And then we just substitute it over here, whatever is given, and then check whether it's true or false from the truth table. You do not need to write the truth table. If you know that, it's enough. But this things must be written. The statement R negation is true. The statement R negation is false. Either one must be true and one is true, therefore it is true. That is the end of this question. I hope it is clear. If you have any doubts, please consider rewatching the video or posting your doubts in the comments. I hope you all will head on to the next video.